Afternoon and welcome to Perkiomen Valley High School for this afternoon's non-league boys basketball game between the Pennridge Rams and the Perkiomen Valley Vikings. And the magic of live television, Danny's, we come on already joined in progress a couple seconds into the game.
It's like back in the 70s when the NFL game would conclude and we'd come back to another game that was local. The local coverage was done. But we're here and we're ready to roll, and the game obviously has begun. And we're looking at two very similar style teams here, right down to height of players and so forth and so on. There's Ryan Schwinn connecting on two for Pennridge, their first basket of the day.
Interesting that 13 who's out there, Ryan Schwinn, was not on our original starting lineup. So,
yeah, I think there was a little bit of an issue there when they called his name out and he came out during the introductions. I know last year he played as a freshman, and here he is back in his sophomore year. And we'll see how he is today against the Vikings. Jacob Harkin connecting on his first basket of the afternoon there.
For those of you just joining us, which is everyone, Perkiomen Valley leads 4-2. Their first 2 points came on free throws. And you haven't really missed anything other than that. And by the way, yes, the camera will improve as the game goes along as we take care of a couple things. Jacob Harkin, great defense with his back. Chase Kelly goes to the basket, and he walks, so they'll wave off the points.
Maybe you should play more with his back to the ball. I mean, yeah, it went off of his back, and Chase Kelly able to get his hands on it. Unfortunately, called for the travel there, trying to attempt a little Euro step there, but the referees were on top of that, and basket no good.
Connor Murray passes inside, and going over the top is Marley Stewart to tie the game at 4.
Yeah, I was able to watch Pennridge play earlier in the season against Boyertown, fellow pack opponent of Perkiomen Valley. And again, it was very similar to, and now, mind you, that was a long time ago. That was 12 games ago, but a very similar style to Perkiomen Valley. They're an undersized squad. They're going to play very gritty. They're going to match up between a zone and a man. They like to stay in a 2-3 quite a bit, and occasionally they'll pop out a full court diamond and one, and that actually helped them a lot against Boyertown. Big three there by Jacob Harkin. He's on track for the day already with 5 points.
Jacob Harkin, who had some struggles last week, especially against Pottsgrove, starting out strong here. Going to the basket, putting it up, is Rowan Smith, and he'll go to the line.
Yeah, Jacob having that big night a couple of weeks ago that you and I were able to be a part of, which was awesome to watch him score 51 points against Norristown. But, a little bit of a struggle since then. Hopefully he's coming out of the gate pretty quick tonight or this afternoon. We're not used to doing these afternoon games. And it's good to see that there's no sun glare issue as of now, with it being a little bit cloudy outside. But as I say that, doesn't the sun start to come out a little bit?
Yes, for those of you watching at home, this gym was designed about 20 years ago where open light was all the rage. And it looks fantastic during the day, but when we have games like this, it can be a little harsh. So, yes, if you do see some sun glare on the court, that's where it comes from.
Yeah, no need to put your eye black on at home. You should be fine once the cloud cover gets here.
Getting the rebound and putting it back is Chase Kelly.
Yeah, Chase has really done a nice job since being inserted into the starting lineup a couple games ago. So good to see him get things rolling already. Really works hard at both the offensive and defensive end, and it paid dividends for him right there.
Putting up the three and missing. Connor Murray rebounded by Jacob Harkin. Harkin with a little stutter step. Passes to Hollingsworth. Basket doesn't go.
Yeah, real nice explosion step by Jacob Harkin, and then a nice feed to Colin Hollingsworth, just not able to connect.
Schwinn for 3. Tie game, 9-9.
The left-hander buries one from the corner. Pennridge likes to take a lot of three-pointers, so we'll see a lot of that, especially if Perk Valley's going to set up in a zone in particular. I do like when PV plays a 1-3 zone, and they do it very well. But again, Pennridge, very astute at getting open for the three-pointer.
Hand off to Rodriguez. He's met there before he gets to the basket. Out of room, looking for a friend. Now finds Harkin. He goes to the basket, rolls off the back of the rim, and into the hands of Murray. His pass quickly makes it to Stewart. Stewart puts it up off the mark, and now it's Jonathan Boyd the other way. 3-on-2 for the Vikings. Boyd to Hollingsworth underneath the basket. Doesn't get the roll. Boyd comes down with the rebound, kicks out to Harkin. Harkin now goes around through the lane and has the ball taken out of his hands illegally, and a foul is called.
Yeah, one of the things we've been talking about, Ryan, you and I all season, and when Justin Barrett's been here and Sean Burke is, Perk Valley having a real issue with missing some enclosed baskets, layups in particular. We already have a couple tonight. Now, some of them have been difficult, don't get me wrong. Pennridge is defending it very well, but at the same time, you got to finish those shots. They're so important when you get the ball that close to the basket, especially against an opponent that's very similar to you. And you have to finish. It's just critical. And when you look at the point differential as far as points per game here on Perk Valley, there's a big differential between Jacob Parkin, who's averaging, let me get to his points here right now, I apologize, at 15.3 a game. The next highest scorer is John Boyd at 6.6. So, again, that's a big gap. You need more disparity, and a lot of that's going to come from just making layups.
Sam Cronali comes in for Pennridge. Vikings also go with the change, too, as Joey Keogh checks in for them. By the way, that last foul was called on Connor Murray, his second, so that's why he goes to the bench. Perkiomen Valley picks up their second foul here, as it's called against Anthony Rodriguez, his first.
Anthony going to be anywhere where the ball is. Anthony is a gritty player. He's going to give you everything he's got.
Nice job by Hollinsworth.
Yeah, Colin Hollinsworth stepping in there. Also, not at the beginning of the season in the starting lineup, but since he's been in, doing great things, especially with his three-point shooting. Jacob Parkin again.
Way downtown, gets his own rebound, then goes amongst the trees, passes out to Hollinsworth. Harkin was all by himself over there when he took that three. Now inside to Harkin. Fake shot, puts it up, gets the foul, and he'll shoot one.
Good job by Jacob to get inside, finish it, and get the three-point play. But going off of the comment you just made, Ryan, and as you watch Jacob go to the basket there, we have four guys on the perimeter watching Jacob go to the basket. You got to get at least three others going to the basket, and then somebody will rotate back. Pennridge, I haven't seen any example that they can get down the floor quickly and have success. So, when you have a height, I'll say evenness with this team, get to the boards, get offensive rebounds, get putbacks. It's one of the things that the team hasn't been able to do well this season.
Free throw is good. Vikings lead by 5. 2.5 minutes to go first quarter. Thanks for joining us today on a snowy Saturday here in southeastern Pennsylvania as Rodriguez comes down with the rebound. A couple more changes for the Vikings, by the way. Patrick McDonald comes in, so too Ty Hoppenwasser.
Yeah, Coach Poisson going to the bench early and often with his players. We'll see if that helps out today.
McDonald's first three-point attempt off the front of the rim. Now quickly moving is Marley Stewart. Xavier Peters.
We'll see how Coach Behrens of Pennridge goes to his bench today. They just played last night, had a tight one against Council Rock North, able to pull off a 1-point victory over Council Rock, but quick turnaround here this morning, so we'll see how deep down his bench he'll go.
Jacob Dietl, another player coming in off the bench, called for the travel with the stutter step. Vikings come into this game still below 500, but with a couple wins under their belt, at least for the other night against Upper Perk. Pennridge comes in 7-5. Harkin using the glass with the spin move and extends the lead to 7. And Coach Behrens for Pennridge calls timeout.
Yeah, Jacob, good job there recognizing that he had a size advantage over Xavier Peters, so he got himself with his back to him, got in close, and then able to finish. And one of the things that, again, we've been talking about this year, high off the glass with his layup there. Really just fundamentally sound as he made that play.
Perkiomen Valley this year has been averaging about 11 points in the first quarter. They're already at 16, so a good first quarter for them, a good shooting first quarter as well.
Yep, off on the right foot for sure. Again, you might see a little bit of a fatigue factor here with Pennridge. Kind of seems that way right now. I think, personally, in just watching Pennridge play the few times that I did get to watch him on film, what Coach Poisson might want to do here is play a man-to-man. Make them have to run. Don't sit in the zone. Make them have to run around. See if they do have any gas left in the tank for this morning, because if they don't, that's going to show. And PV might find themselves in a situation, and we saw it against Norristown, where they can get down the floor at times as long as they're successful at the end of that journey.
When I logged off the air last night after the girls' game, I said, we'll see you in 15 hours. So basically it's 15 hours between games here for Pennridge.
And I couldn't help but mention that people were going to see me in the morning, and that might be a bit of a shock to them. I don't understand that, but I'm hoping I look good this morning. But then again, that's, maybe we're better for radio.
That's right. We got one camera today. We're not going to be on today, so we're going to be okay. Keogh kicks out to Hoppenwasser.
Ty Hoppenwasser really looking to gain some confidence.
Nice defensive play by Pennridge, Jacob Bolger. Handoff, blocked by Hoppenwasser.
Yeah, that'll help his confidence for sure. Early in the season, Ty was one of the starters. Coach, nice move by Jacob Parkin, changing up direction and nicely off the glass. Well done.
And the officials warn the players for some malfeasance that happened on the court.
Now, we don't have our statistician here today, our student statistician. We have three that have been rotating. They've been doing an excellent job. But when Jacob hit 51 against Norristown, it was a real quiet 51, as crazy as that sounds. Right now, if I'm not mistaken, he's got 9 points already. So you may know better than me if you're tracking this, Ryan, but he's off to a great start this afternoon or this morning.
I am not tracking this.
Okay.
we're in this together, so we're going to use the buddy system for this.
I'll get my daughter to text me at home if she's following the game.
10 seconds to go, first quarter. Vikings lead by 9. McDonald passes to Keogh. 2 seconds left. Harkin for 3, no good. And that ends the first quarter. Vikings lead by 9 after the first quarter in a game that they kind of need to have if they want to make districts this year.
Yeah, this is going to be important for both teams. You're right around the mid-season point, and, every game's going to be critical. But when you have matchups like this against opponents that really match up well with you, you have to take advantage of those moments.
Both teams need this victory to get those points they need for district playoffs.
So here we are coming in the second quarter, PV up by 9. One of their better starts this year outside of the Norristown game. So great way to get things rolling this afternoon. We'll see if they can maintain that. And they are going to stay in a man-to-man. We'll see if Pennridge can, and I say keep up with them. Again, simply coming off of last night's game, which I believe was played at Council Rock as well. So count that travel into it as well. Might not sound like much, but when you're on a bus this often in this short of amount of time, it's going to have an effect on your players.
Good defense there by Perkiomen Valley, forces the turnover. Cross-court pass to Kelly. Kelly for 3, rattles out. Scramble for the ball, goes out of bounds off Perkiomen Valley, and it'll be Pennridge's hand to throw in.
So one of the things we are seeing already is that PV is really running their offensive sets well. They're not rushing anything. They're not taking ill-advised shots. They're really waiting for that best opportunity. So that's a good positive right there. And obviously they're beginning to finish their shots now. So hopefully they can maintain that because, as we said, too, these teams that Coach Poyston has generally tend to get better as the year goes on. And this was a brand-new group that he was mixing together. So at this point, hopefully they're beginning to gel, and maybe we're starting to see the fruits of their labor today.
Kick out pass, 3-point attempt short. Now a pass inside. McDonald holds his ground, forces a bad shot.
Yeah, when you start to see those shots just going a little bit short, a little bit off the rim, and you wonder, hey, are their legs there? Are there legs underneath them? Here's Pennridge looking to pressure a little bit, Coach Barron's probably trying to get his team, he's going to run them back into play here as far as getting them active.
Traveling violation called on Keogh. couple more subs for Perkiomen Valley coming back into the game. Jonathan Boyd and Anthony Rodriguez.
Coach Dean Behrens in his 27th year at Pennridge. I had the pleasure of coaching against Coach Behrens back in the late 90s.
How'd you do against
2000.
him?
500.
All right.
Very good. It was a great rivalry. I was at Souderton, of course, and Pennridge being the geographic rival right next door. Really good teams, and right down to the state championship in 2019, where they fell short to Kennedy Catholic with Sean Yoder on that team, who was a great player for Pennridge, went on to play at Navy.
Harkin underneath to Rodriguez. An easy 2 points for him.
Yeah, Jacob realizing now he's going to start to draw a little bit more attention, a little bit of a double team there, not necessarily by design, but that left Anthony Rodriguez open, and he did a great job of getting the ball to him.
Going to the basket and drawing the foul, Ronan Smith, and he'll shoot 2. Pretty clean game so far. Not many fouls picked up. Only the one player on Pennridge, Connor Murray, in with 2. That's Hoppenwasser's first.
Yeah, and Perk Valley with only one team foul themselves. Again, we have very similar teams here. The tallest player for Pennridge is William Wallace, a senior at 6'2", and there's multiple players. We have Sam Krog now also at 6'3", but as far as getting into the game right now, we're looking at Ryan Flood at 6'2", and then also at 6'1", Ronan Smith, who just shot the free throws. And here they are in that three-quarter court pressure I was talking about.
Pennridge goes back to Connor Murray, who has 2 fouls. He's back in the game. Also coming back in is Jacob Bolger. And an offensive foul called against Perkiomen Valley.
Yeah, Joey Keogh moving there on the screen. Getting caught. PV coming back with a little bit of pressure themselves, going full court man. Then just backing off out of that.
Keogh goes to the bench. Kyle Tracy makes his first appearance this afternoon.
Kyle, a three-point specialist, but also does a good job at the defensive end as well. Really fires around the floor is the best way to describe Kyle Tracy.
Marley Stewart puts up 2 to make it an 8-point game.
Yeah, Pennridge starting to wake up a little bit here.
And a really sloppy turnover there for Perkiomen Valley. And with that, Perkiomen Valley goes to the bench. Owen Baker checks in, the junior forward. 5 minutes to go, second quarter. Vikings lead by 8 as we play a late morning special here against Pennridge.
Has nothing to do with the NFL playoffs. It did not affect our scheduling.
No, I just think the coaches just wanted to play early. Let's go with that. Vikings have played some pretty good defense here in this first half, limiting the Pennridge to 12 points.
Yeah, Pennridge into a good flow now in their offense. We'll see if they're able to connect with that. Not at that point. Jacob Harkin with the rebound.
Ronan Smith rattles off the rim. Now ahead to Rodriguez. Rodriguez's cross-court pass intercepted, and moving ahead is Jacob Bolger. Stolen from behind by Rodriguez.
Yeah, Anthony doesn't like mistakes, needless to say, and he's going to look to correct them quickly, and he did there. Hustling back on defense, get the ball back in his hands. PV back at the offensive end.
Inside, outside. Rodriguez hands off to Boyd, puts up the jumper a little long, and rebounded nicely by Marley Stewart. Rodriguez gets in the way and then trips up the player, and he'll pick up a second foul.
Yeah, good job by Anthony to hustle over, but then taking out number 13, Ryan Schwinn, in the process, getting called for the foul.
A couple more substitutions, both teams going to the bench. Hoppenwasser out, Keogh in, Rodriguez out, and Hollinsworth in. Vikings had a really good first quarter offensively. They've been a little bit colder here in the second quarter rather.
Number 11, Jacob Bolger, checking in for Pennridge. I've watched him a couple times. He's done a great job coming in off the bench for Coach Behrens. Kind of sparked the comeback against Boyertown. They were a little slow out of the gate against that one, but came in off the bench and added some juice to Pennridge at that time. And we'll see if he's able to do it here against Perk Valley.
Vikings were hot in the first quarter, but they are now coming closer to their 29.6% three-point shooting they've had all year here in the second.
Yeah, I think Pennridge has gotten a little bit more pop in their step. We'll see if there's a three for them.
Connor Murray for three, and the lead is 5. And Mike Poison doesn't like what he sees and calls timeout.
Yeah, it might be that, Coach
Actually, both teams call timeout.
Can you split it? Can it be split? I don't think so.
Pennridge wanted a 30. Mike Poison's asked for a full. Will get the call.
Rock, paper, scissors, I guess, would have been the best way to solve that issue.
Start to reach the home stretch. As we reach the home stretch here of the season, both teams are starting to look toward the end of the season. Both teams with tournaments coming up. Both teams having to, not just get wins, but also round into shape for the most important parts of the year as well.
Yeah, and this is when, like a team like Perk Valley where, again, we mentioned that they brought in basically 5 starters together. And when I say brought in, I mean are starting for the first time together. So there's going to be a learning curve of one another and certainly of the coaching staff of the players as far as how they work together. And at this point, you want to start to see some results from that. And Coach Poison has tweaked the roster a little bit as far as who starts and minutes and things like that. So it's starting to show some progress, is I guess the best way to describe it. But a lot of what we're seeing is just based on fundamentals.
Easy 2 points for Hollingsworth as he gets behind the defense. So a good timeout by Mike Poison there to kind of stem the Pennridge run here and kind of get some spark back in the Perk Valley offense.
Good defense there by Jacob. Pennridge able to recover the ball.
Keogh gets a hand on it, forces the turnover.
Now, just right here, settling down, running their offense is something we weren't seeing for the most part of the season. And now, missed layup there, maybe a little bit forced, but that's the things I think Coach Poison's waiting to see.
Driving to the basket and getting it is Marley Stewart.
Call from the outside official there. Furthest away from the play, but that's the angle he had, calling a block. That's what Coach Poison's talking about right now to the official that was on the baseline.
Patrick McDonald called for his first foul. 4th against Perk Valley, so Pennridge will be shooting free throws the rest of the way here in the second quarter. 4-point lead for the Vikings, just under 2 minutes to play.
Back in that three-quarter court pressure.
And a hand check foul called against Ryan Schwinn.
And what Pennridge is doing is they're not overly quick. They're obviously not overly tall. We've talked about that. But they really position themselves well in their three-quarter court pressure. And this is something Coach Behrens has been doing for years. I know he really loves to do this type of setup as far as full court pressure is concerned, and his team does a really good job at it. Here's a half-court 1-3-1. They're trapping below the free line, or below the free throw line extended as well. Sometimes you won't see teams do that. They'll just do it up above, but it paid dividends there.
Having the ball stripped out of his hands on the way to the basket after the steal was Jacob Bolger, but it stays with Pennridge under the basket.
Pennridge just making PV second guess about their passes against that pressure, and that's what's creating the turnovers at this point.
Keogh forces a shot, pass. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, I think he went to pass it to the opposite corner, and he caught the rim in the process.
It's 2 nights in a row we've seen that then here, because the same thing happened against Upper Perk. Here's a foul on the way to the basket, and Marley Stewart will shoot 2.
I think this one's going to be called on Jacob Parkin. Now called on Anthony Rodriguez.
That is his 3rd foul.
Anthony will be checking out of the game. John Boyd checking in. So Pennridge has crawled their way back into this contest, down 3 points.
Much more purpose to the Pennridge offense here in the second quarter. Also, the Perk Valley offense has kind of gone cold, too.
Yeah, as I was mentioning earlier, I think maybe they just needed to wake up a little bit and not that PV can't continue to do the things that they were doing well. They just have to remember that, just keep their eyes down the floor and make the right fundamental play. Don't try to do any more than you're not capable of doing, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just work into the team concept.
Whole bunch of passes make it over to Hollinsworth, whose shot rattled in and out. And now moving ahead is Xavier Peters. He kicks out, 3-point attempt, no good, but the fight over the rebound by Perkiomen Valley leads the ball out of bounds. And it'll be Pennridge's underneath their own, or the Perk Valley basket with 52.6 seconds left.
Yeah, got to do a better job securing the rebound there. And when there's only two of you and your teammate there, you certainly have to have communication going up for that board so that doesn't happen. PV back to a man-to-man defensively. Looks like they're going to try to isolate Ryan Schwinn. I think he's going to run the corner off a double screen or just kick out. Okay.
Harkin does a good job, knocked it out of bounds, and they'll have to reset. Marley Stewart was the one driving to the basket, and he had his path stopped by Harkin. All the way over to Bolger, now back outside to Peters. Peters with a shot fake, goes to the basket, puts it up. Rebounded by Harkin with 30 seconds left.
Jacob doing a nice job getting position there and then rising up to it and getting that ball at its highest point. 20 seconds left here. I'm assuming PV will hold for one.
We assume that a lot, and we're usually wrong, so we're going to find out.
I could speak for myself in saying, yes, I am.
Now we're under 7 seconds. Now I feel a little bit better about this. Harkin to the basket, drives, draws the foul, and he'll shoot two with 4 seconds left. That counts. That's close enough.
There you go. Low-scoring half, to say the least, with 22-20 with 4 seconds left.
Well, Perkiomen Valley was up 19-10 after the first quarter, so at this point they've only scored 3 points here in the second.
And that's when Pennridge jumped to that three-quarter court diamond and won. So it certainly has had a positive effect for Pennridge and a negative effect for Perk Valley. I'm sure Coach Poison will be talking about that in the locker room when they head in.
Checking back in is Ronan Smith. First free throw good.
A lot of what you want to do against a diamond type or any kind of zone pressure full court or even more so full court is it's the timing of when you step into the open area. Good steal there.
Keogh back to Boyd, whose shot is deflected out of bounds. First half ends with the Vikings leading 24-20. It was a rough quarter for their offense, but they lead with the lead.
Yeah, like we said, going into halftime here, I'm sure Coach Poison's going to draw up how they want to beat that three-quarter court pressure, and hopefully Perk Valley can get back into a consistent scoring and bring that into the third quarter.
All right, everyone's going to step out for lunch. We'll be back with the second half in just a few moments. Vikings were hot in the first quarter, built a big lead. Pennridge came back a little bit there in the second to make it a 4-point game at the half. So, Danny, these are two teams that are pretty evenly matched, and it's pretty much happening the way we thought it was going to.
Yeah, and as we did mention early in the game, even before PV came out really playing well, we mentioned that Pennridge has had success with the three-quarter court press. They employed that in the second quarter, and it got them right back into this game. So PV's going to have to come out with an answer to that, assuming that Coach Behrens will run his team into that type of defense again, but we'll see. We'll see how they respond, and they have to get back to the ways in the first quarter that were good fundamentals, good team basketball, patience on offense that really got them into the lead that they had.
And Perkiomen Valley's lead was really set up by outside shooting that kind of went away in the second quarter.
Yeah, and they're not the best outside shooting team. We can say that. But at the same time, you want to be able to take good shots. And they weren't doing that in the second quarter in particular. In the first quarter they were. So back to being patient, good offense, a patient offense. If it takes 5, 6, 7 or more passes, there's no shot clock in high school basketball. So you're more than welcome to eat clock to get a good shot off.
I don't know if we're starting a new halftime tradition, but I did notice at halftime today we had several people walking down to the PV and waving to our camera to people at home. So,
yeah.
So we'll say hi to them as well. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Thanks for making today part of your Saturday afternoon as we start the second half with Perk Valley with the basketball.
And hopefully you were able to connect with your friend or family member when they looked up into the camera and waved to you.
They seemed like satisfied customers. And that offensive foul to start the second half here called against Perkiomen Valley.
PV's that's the second time today being called for that screen at the top of the key, but that's happened pretty consistently. When I say consistently, more than it should over the course of the season. I don't know what's going on there as far as having their feet set on that screen. A lot of times it's not the screener's fault, but the screenee's fault. In other words, if you're leaving too quick before the screen's set and that guy's coming to screen for you, he's going to get called for that foul.
Chase Kelly called for the offensive foul, and now on the other end, it's going to be Ronan Smith called for the foul on the rebound with Harkin.
Yeah, Ronan thinking he had the ball tied up, and I think he did initially, but kind of hung on a little bit longer there. Here they are in that diamond. Actually, it's a 1-2-2 press.
And Ronan called for the kickball, so we'll start all over again.
Again, what it is timing coming up from the back. You want to start your players, but it's just my opinion here, is the players are starting up a little closer. You kind of create congestion. You saw Anthony Rodriguez sneak over there, but he's got to sprint to that middle spot so that they can hit him right away, and then he turns and looks up the floor. PV's just kind of attacking it really tentatively, and that's not going to help them get the ball up the floor.
Joey Keogh's pass goes out of bounds, and it's a turnover in the backcourt. So Pennridge with the basketball here in the beginning of the second half.
PV in a man-to-man on defense.
Shot by Stewart, a little long. Gets his own rebound, though. And Schwind with the turnaround shot. A little off the mark there. Stewart comes down with another rebound.
Yeah, PV struggling to rebound, both at the defensive and offensive end. The offensive rebounds have been a problem all year in that there's nobody really attacking the glass, but on the defensive end, you should have everybody there rebounding the ball.
Smooth shot by Xavier Peters, cuts the lead to 2. Harkin called for the offensive foul as he goes to the basket and leaves his feet. And that's another offensive turnover on another offensive foul.
Yeah,
3 turnovers to start.
Coming down the floor out of control. You beat the pressure. You got up at first. And this is what a good pressure team is going to do. Make you think you've got a fast break, and next thing you know, you're out of control, or they're coming up from behind to steal the ball. And in that case, PV out of control and committing the offensive foul.
Using the glass to tie the game is Ronan Smith. 4-0 start for Pennridge off of 3 Perk Valley turnovers here at the start of the third quarter. 4th turnover. Oh, Perk Valley bailed out there by a foul call.
Yeah, and again, just sitting tentatively in the middle there, you're being invited into that spot, and Pennridge doing a good job of collapsing on Anthony Rodriguez at that point, getting called for the foul, but really executing this defense perfectly at this point.
Ryan Schwinn called her his second foul. He comes out. Quick pass into Keogh, goes to the basket. Pass shot deflected. Stewart comes down with the rebound, moves ahead to Peters.
Yeah, so what Pennridge is doing is forcing PV to play out of their comfort zone. And PV just not really realizing that. And they're, you get the ball up the wing there, one pass, and Joey Keogh just takes off to the basket, and there really wasn't anything there other than they invited you to rush, and PV did just that.
Rodriguez and Boyd play catch. And then off the trap, it's a backcourt violation. 2 turnovers to start the second half for Keogh on passes going back into the backcourt. Kyle Tracy checks in quickly for Joey Keogh. Very choppy start to this second half.
Yeah, not coming out of the locker room, not quite sure how to beat this pressure. And again, they're not doing anything that's really different in a 1-2-2 or that kind of zone press, just not executing properly against it to beat it. And Pennridge doing a nice job executing their offense.
Peters gives Pennridge the lead for the first time today.
Yeah, quick move there. Short jump, getting the ball up high off the glass quickly.
Give away, Peters in all alone. He's actually fouled at half court.
Yeah, John Boyd lucky he didn't get an intentional foul there just by grabbing the hand of Peters as he broke down the floor. That's what Coach Behrens is yelling over to the official about. That should be intentional.
Perkiomen Valley calls timeout as it's a 6-0 run for Pennridge to start the second half. They lead by 2.
Yeah, Perk Valley, again, not coming out and executing well against the zone pressure. I could see Coach Poisden is talking about just that right now. And, when you get up the sideline against any kind of pressure and you're going to pull your dribble up, a good team, a good defensive pressure team is going to collapse on you there. And that's what Pennridge is doing. And then when PV is beating it, they're getting almost duped into thinking they've got a quick basket or a fast break opportunity, and they don't. And then they're looking to rush things at that end and not able to finish. So they got to look to you got to beat pressure from the inside out. And you have to execute coming up from the back side of it to get your guy on the inside who's got to turn quickly and look up the sidelines. And then your guy should be converging down, coming in off the wing to either get a quick score or just run your offense at that point. PV going zone here, 1-3-1.
A 3-second violation called against Pennridge. I think we're going to check every rule off in the book by the time this game is done.
We're moving in that direction.
I don't think we've seen a 3-second violation in 2 years here.
Which, by the way, I have to correct myself. I made I'll say a call the other night, and I was wrong in doing so.
What?
I'll get to that in a minute. Yep, I know. Hold your breath.
Oh, man. Someone hit record on this one. Stand by, viewers. History is about to be made here in a few moments. Harkin to the basket. He draws the foul.
Yeah, Jacob, just gather yourself, though. Take a better shot than that and get fouled, maybe make the layup and then complete the three-point play. So the other night there was a situation when we were playing, Perk Valley was playing Pope John Paul. Am I right? Pope John? No, I'm sorry, Pottsgrove. It was that game. And one of our players went up for a layup, and one of their players smacked the backboard, which caused the ball not to go in. But there was no call on the play. And I had made the call that it should be a technical foul and the basket should be good. Well, the basket should not count, but the technical foul should be called. So it's not both a good basket and a technical foul. It's just a technical foul by creating a situation that the ball doesn't have the opportunity to go in is the correct call. Check that with referee Scott Reed here at Perkiomen Valley, also the head coach at Pope John Paul and their football program, who had a great season this year as well.
So there you have it, folks. A mea culpa from Danny Collins.
That will not happen again this season, meaning the mea culpa part.
Oh, well, okay. Well, there you go. All right, you can put the camcorders down. The moment has passed. 26-26, Harkin for 3 in the lead. Must have been a gust of wind on that one as it doesn't really come close, and it goes out of bounds.
Yeah, he didn't have a lot of leg into that shot. when you're going to shoot from any distance, it's going to, as I used to tell young players and still will today if I'm helping them with shooting, the distance of your shot's going to come from your legs. So the leg explosion that you have, your upper body from the waist up is a guiding system, and the explosion comes from down below the waist. So your legs really have to get into the shot, and then you're just guiding that ball from the waist up all the way through your fingertips into the basket.
Sam Cronali checks in. Peters for three. He's fouled, and he'll shoot three.
Yeah, game getting a little helter-skelter at this point. I think it's more to Pennridge's liking. Puts them at the free throw line.
Kyle Tracy called for his first foul. Xavier Peters will shoot 3 free throws in an attempt to either tie or give Pennridge the lead.
Again, as we said earlier, very low-scoring game at this point at 27-26 with just over 3 minutes left in the third quarter.
If you're the Vikings, it started so well. They had 19 in the first quarter.
Yeah, and again, I'll attribute that to poor execution after the first quarter, but also I think Pennridge woke up in the literal sense, and they're playing with a lot more energy since the first quarter and certainly executing both their offense and defense very well.
All right, now I'll admit to a mistake. I got the score wrong there. Peters gave them the lead with the first free throw, made the second one, didn't make the third, so Pennridge leads by 2. Nice pass for Cronali, and he makes it a 4-point lead for Pennridge, their largest lead of the game.
Pennridge backing out of that zone, that three-quarter court trap now. Going to just play straight man-to-man and see how PV reacts to that, up by 4. Coach using that to get Coach Barons to get his team back into the game, and it worked.
Tracy not afraid to shoot threes. This one off the mark. Now it's Peters. Peters double-teamed. Now triple-teamed. He actually now goes to Stewart. Pennridge resets the offense.
Yeah, good job there, controlling the ball, backing it out, and now let's just reset. PV in a 1-2-2, a 3-2. They like to play somebody up high. John Boyd up in that now, and then he'll drop back when the ball goes to a wing to cover that elbow.
Hoppenwasser grabs.
Yeah, good defense there by Perk Valley. Now reward yourself offensively with a good shot and good execution on offense.
Under 2 minutes to play, third quarter. Pennridge leads 30-26. Vikings scored 5 points in the second quarter. They have 1 point here. No, now they get 2 more. And Pennridge calls timeout.
Nice take there by Jacob Harkin, getting the hole, getting his shoulders square to the basket and laying it up off the glass. Well done. Well, you know what? We said this was 2 opponents that kind of mirror one another, and here we are almost mirroring one another right down to the score.
That doesn't usually produce the prettiest basketball now, does it?
Yeah, and it's funny you say that, and in a sense that I think these are 2 teams that know their limitations. And when I say that, I don't mean that they're not good basketball players. My point is that as a team, and certainly when you don't have the height that you have or need ideally on the inside, you're going to play a game that's more center court oriented. If that's three-quarter court trapping, if that's running an offense out higher, you'll do that. So both of these teams, it's going to come down to the execution at both ends. And right now, Pennridge is just executing better at both ends by a little bit. I think if PV gets back to what they were doing from an execution standpoint in the first quarter, they're going to be fine in this game.
Vikings go with Hoppenwasser in the middle now. He deflects this pass, but out of bounds. But some active hands there disrupts the offense.
It's good to see Ty be a part of this. As I said, beginning the season early on as a starter, kind of coming in off the bench now, but really needs to make some positive plays, and that's a good sign right there.
Pass stolen by Boyd. Boyd grabs it.
Good job
calls
there.
Timeout.
Yeah, John Boyd, number one is athleticism to make the steal and then go get the ball, and then the wherewithal to get into the air as he's holding it, jumping out of bounds, turning to the official in midair and making that call for the timeout. Well done.
Still allowed in high school.
Yeah.
I don't think it's allowed much elsewhere in the world, but it's still allowed here in high school.
Yep. Not allowed at the professional level. I do know that. College, I'm not quite sure.
1:28 to go, third quarter. Pennridge leads 30-28. Pennridge outscoring the Vikings here 10-4 here in the third.
That might be why we get to see some of the best player-fan collisions in the NBA. When you see players going for loose balls and selling out to make that save, and they know they can't call a timeout, so they're going to go through those people that are literally 3 feet from the sideline and the end line.
You're just enjoying your popcorn, and here comes either Shaquille O'Neal or Charles Barkley right at you. I think the popcorn's taking a flight there.
Yeah, this isn't what I paid for, right?
And you paid a lot for it, too. Boyd now to Rodriguez, backhanded pass, and the game's tied at 30 with Harkin getting those two.
Great job there by Jacob Harkin. And the reason I say that, and that looked like a fundamental play, at the beginning of the season, he wasn't taking that extra head fake, hold the ball, let the defender fly by it. He did there, able to finish off the play. Really well done by him. Good execution of the offense in general.
Under a minute to play, third quarter to steal. 3-on-2 for the Vikings. Harkin takes it all by himself and gives the Vikings the lead.
Did it again. Gathered himself, got down, 2-foot jump stop, right? You come in off the jump stop, you're going to be more in control. Really well done there.
Seesaw game here in the third. Vikings led coming in. Pennridge led most of the third quarter. Now the Vikings lead by 2. 25 seconds to go, third quarter. Peters hangs onto the ball near midcourt.
Pennridge can 10 here home from the last shot. They don't want to cheat out too far. Look for whoever's coming up from the baseline, either 0 or 42, or Ryan Schwinn there sneaking up to the elbow.
Boyd almost got there. Instead, it makes it all the way down to Crognale. Out of bounds, Vikings ball with 5 seconds left.
Okay, you got 5 seconds here. No need to rush anything, believe it or not, but here they are. Good job by Coach Behrens setting up his three-quarter court trap. That hesitation might just not allow PV to get off a good shot, but there's a good look for Jacob.
Jacob Harkin had his own 6-0 run for the Vikings, and they lead by 2 going to the fourth quarter.
Yeah, PV coming out a little slow, coming out of the locker room, and it almost looked like the tide was changing in a big way, and Pennridge was really switching the momentum over as they did in the second quarter, but it looked like, they took the lead, and it didn't look good for PV, but PV settled down. And I'll say, since Ty Hoppenwasser checked in, they kind of moved things down a little bit as far as execution is closer to the basket as well, and Ty's been a big part of that. So let's see if they can continue that going into the fourth quarter, up by 2.
Vikings have averaged on the season almost 13 points fourth quarter. So that is their most productive quarter of the game typically.
Yeah, and you hope that's just not a reflection of maybe being down in some games and having to shoot threes and things like that. But it also could be, and we'll see here, because, again, two tightly matched teams, if it's just a matter of the fact that they're getting better as the game goes on and starting to execute a little bit better. So this is the perfect match to see, and I'm sure Coach Poison and Coach Murphy are looking at this and saying, okay, this is an opponent that mirrors us, and let's see where we are, because this is going to be a good gauge to see how the rest of the season is going to go on. It's not a make or break game, but it really is going to give us a good idea as to if we need to adjust things or if we just need to stick with what we're doing and just get better at it.
Speaking of Coach Mike Murphy, I want to take a moment to just send out best wishes to him and his family. Mike lost his father yesterday. He's here coaching today, also reminding me about the Notre Dame game the other night as well. So just wanted to send some well wishes to Mike as well.
Yeah, Mike Murphy, longtime assistant of Coach Poison, real good guy, Mike Murphy. His son Ryan played at Perkiomen Valley, now down at the University of Tennessee, not playing, but he's down there as well. But yes, our condolences to Murph and his family.
Ryan Murphy's hair still looks fantastic, too.
Unlike his father's.
No.
Unlike his father's.
Clearly didn't come from him.
Mom must have a great head of hair.
Pennridge has had the ball for 45 seconds here to start the fourth quarter and has not gone inside the free throw line yet.
Yeah, I don't know what the attempt is here by Coach Behrens, other than maybe he's thinking he can frustrate PV a little bit. I'm not sure. Or maybe just pull them farther away, but it didn't work there.
And Harkin goes to the basket, but he's fouled on the floor before he takes off. So a good foul there by Pennridge to prevent the basket.
Yeah, in the NBA, that would have been a three-point play, but not in the high school level. That foul occurred before he actually began to go up.
Xavier Peters called for the foul, first on Pennridge here in the fourth.
Referees made the right call there.
And now it's Perkiomen Valley who will be patient with the basketball.
There's Ty Hoppenwasser. Would have been a nice thing. What Ty needs to do there is off that pick and roll. He's got to roll. He's got to explode to the basket. You can't just take a step or two and just go through the motions of the offense. You really need to see PV really step hard to passing lanes. Like right there, Ty Hoppenwasser needed to step to the ball. Good steal there by Jacob Harkin, but called on the foul.
So Harkin does prevent the easy. No, they're going to say it's a shooting foul.
Yeah, that I'm not so sure about.
So Marley Stewart will shoot 2 here in an attempt to tie the game. Jacob Harkin called for his second foul, first on Perkiomen Valley.
I guess what they're saying is he was in the motion of going to the basket. Therefore, it's a shooting foul.
You can hear Rasheed Wallace's very famous line in the distance right there after the first missed free throw.
What was that line?
Well, the ball don't lie on the first one, but not that time.
Pennridge back into that three-quarter court pressure. We'll see how PV handles it. Again, I'm looking at the timing here. Braden Nestor just checking into the game for PV, and he was coming up from the backside. But again, a little slow on that. And he's got to be careful of his screens, and there he is. He just got called for it. He was fighting to set that screen on the first defender, and then on the second defender, he got called on the offensive foul.
If that were a running play and he were a wide receiver, that would have been a perfect block.
Yeah, he was taking his runner right into the hole.
Unfortunately, basketball, that's an illegal screen. His first foul, second against Perkiomen Valley, and it's a turnover. Pennridge with the ball down 1. And the third foul called against Perkiomen Valley here to start the fourth.
Braden Nestor picking up 2 quick fouls.
It's on the Matt Geiger play in here.
Did you just say Matt Geiger?
Six fouls in 2 minutes in the NBA Finals.
That is going back. I remember that. Holy smokes, Matt Geiger.
That was the old Hack-a-Shack in the 2001 NBA Finals.
Yeah, that's when the NBA was physical.
Didn't work. Didn't work. Peters for 3. No. Harkin has it off his hands and out of bounds.
And Jacob claiming he got hit from behind, and he may have, but that call wasn't made.
Official was 2 feet away from him and didn't make a call, so we're going to have to go with it. Peters off the inbound.
Anthony Rodriguez needs to be careful here. You got 5:45 left in the game. Don't pick up a fourth foul now. You want to keep yourself in the game. You're an important part of this team. Stay on the floor. That's critical. Continue. I'm sorry.
Trying to get around Hoppenwasser didn't work. And they called traveling. So Hoppenwasser gets some good defense there to force the turnover.
I got to admit, unlike Coach Barons over here, he's got his hand up like, where did he walk? I didn't see it either, but I'm pretty far away. Good job there. Good job. Now get out and run your offense. Nice job beating the pressure.
Both coaches look exhausted and exasperated by this game.
PV doing a nice job executing, being patient. Floor's a little off balance right now. You want to get that even up so you can look at as many options as you can and force the defense to have to step out and play.
Stays here with Perkiomen Valley. Just under 5 minutes to play. Vikings lead by 1. Vikings hanging on despite the fact they've only scored 13 points since the beginning of the second quarter.
Yeah, low-scoring game.
Boyd to Kelly. Kelly to the basket. Gets 2. Gets the foul, and he'll shoot 1.
Real nice pass by John Boyd. His eyes, he kind of looked off to the right as if he was almost not into the play, and then dropped it off to his left to Chase Kelly, who explodes to the basket, and the opportunity here to make the three-point play. Nice play by both players.
First foul of the game for Jacob Bolger. Free throw no good. Vikings lead by 3.
Yeah, not a good free throw shooting team as Perk Valley as a team on a whole. 61% over the course of the season. That's got to improve if you want to win these tight games.
And the way this quarter's setting up, they're going to have some opportunities here at the end.
Absolutely. You know, it might come down to a free throw shooting contest or even just a couple of free throws in particular. So you're right. You know, it's a key factor, and sometimes players don't give it the attention they need to.
Ollie Stewart loses the ball. Hoppenwasser picks it up. Vikings turn over Pennridge, and they move it ahead. Boyd drives, dishes to Kelly, who draws a technical foul on Perkiomen Valley. Mike Poison called for a technical foul.
I'm not sure why. I was actually looking over there. Referee Brian Winsko and Mike Murphy, Mike Poisden right there. And I don't know if Mike said something, but there was nothing emphatic from his body language. I'm not sure why that was called. But again, here we are as far away as we are.
Xavier Peters will shoot the free throws. That counts as a team foul, so that's the 14th foul against Perkiomen Valley as well.
Yeah, Pennridge could be in a free throw shooting contest here with a lot of time left on that next foul. So with 4 minutes and 6 seconds left.
Also counts as a turnover.
Pennridge will have possession. Some discrepancy with what the call is. Coach Poison thinking there was a foul call. There was not a foul called. There was just a technical foul called.
So this could be a pivotal play in the game in that Pennridge gets 2 points in a game that has a total of 67 points. And it's a turnover when the Vikings were in the offense.
Their coach is saying there was a foul called on the opposite wing by one of the other officials. And the technical foul had nothing to do with that play. It was a technical foul that was called on something over by the bench. But Coach Poison is arguing, listen, there was a foul against us that had been called. Has that been waved off is what he's asking, I would assume. But why would it be?
Well, as the rule states, once you get a technical, you got to sit the rest of the game.
The old seatbelt rule.
And unfortunately, that means he had to kick his son off the bench. So there's one less Poison on the bench now. He's got to sit the rest of the game. Vikings lead by a point halfway through the fourth quarter. A little juice in the gym now.
Yeah, I think that livened up the crowd a little bit. Certainly the players for Perkiomen Valley. Good steal there by Anthony. They're making a call there.
Foul called against
Pennridge.
Against
Pennridge, yeah. Okay.
Marley Stewart called for the foul. And that was also hold your breath moment for Perkiomen Valley. As Rodriguez was the one in the area. He already has 3. But instead it's Stewart's second, third on Pennridge.
What PV has to do here now is don't get overly excited here, okay? You're still up 1 point. Obviously it's a tight game. But don't start playing with your emotion. Keep your head in the game. Play smart basketball.
Looks inside to Kelly. Kelly brings it back out. Hands off to Boyd. Now to Harkin.
You got to be careful of these long skip passes. Pennridge might be timing it at least to jump over and make a steal here.
Harkin tries to drive in. Plants in the lane and called for traveling.
Good thought. Just needed to be a little bit more in control. When he tried to take that extra lunge towards the basket, he drug his pivot foot, or his plant foot, I should say, to the basket. Referee saw that and called it.
Vikings lead by 1, 3:15 to go, fourth quarter. In a game that's pretty much had everything in it.
Except high scoring.
Yes. Well, steal by Rodriguez. And the Vikings slow it down momentarily. And now they do with Kelly.
Good job. Good job to throttle it down. Be patient. Every basket, every shot's going to matter in this game. So you want to make sure it's of high quality.
Boyd doing some lunges there on the near sideline.
Keep the ball moving. Don't just sit out there. Nobody's going to react to that. Just keep the ball moving in your offense. And if you were to take that shot, it wouldn't be a great shot. You'd be not in rhythm and certainly not in the flow of the offense.
2:25 to go. Vikings have had the ball now for about half a minute.
We might only see a handful of possessions between now here and the end of the game, if even that.
Yeah, we don't bring up the JV game often, but the JV game was very similar to this as well. Very close at the end. Both teams trying to figure out how to land the plane, I guess is the best way to put it. This is a foul against Pennridge, and that's to be their 4th team foul. So both teams will be in the bonus with the next foul.
Yeah, and to your point, similar styles, right? And the JV teams are going to play the same style. There's not going to be a big change as far as the personnel out on the floor as far as their level of play. So, you are seeing almost a carryover of that game into this varsity game today.
Timeout with 2:06 to go. Perkiomen Valley leads 34-33. Game recap for what it is. Vikings had 19 points in the first quarter. They've only scored 15 since then. Pennridge, on the other hand, they've outscored the Vikings 23-15 since the beginning of the second quarter to get us to this 1-point game.
So as we look into the final 2 minutes and 6 seconds here of a 1-point game, I gotta take a look at the free throw shooting for Perk Valley at least. And as we have said and well documented, as a team, it's not good free throw shooting. So certainly as a team, you're not going to have great individual free throw shooting. But as far as looking at a good body of work, Colin Hollingsworth at 61%, Jacob Harkin at 70%, Pat McDonald at 57%, and Chase Kelly at 61%. They're your best PV free throw shooters. So we'll see what Coach Poisden does as far as who he wants to put the ball in, as far as whose hands does he want it in if those people are on the floor. Certainly Jacob Harkin's going to be on the floor, and they're just going to be, it could be a matter of coming down to free throws, and that's not some crazy assertion here. When you have a 1-point game with 2 minutes, that's probably what's going to end up here.
Hoppenwasser to Kelly. Now it's Hoppenwasser into Boyd, back out to Kelly. Open three-pointer. Vikings lead by 4.
Nice ball rotation, good execution of the offense. Come down now, stay in that 1-3-1. I think that's a good move. Make sure you're communicating. Look at the high post. Be careful of number 11 for Pennridge, and that's Jacob Bulger. As I said, he did a nice job of bringing them back in against Boyertown. He's in the game now here with the last minute and a half left.
Pennridge down 4. Looking for the right offense here. Vikings zone seems to be stymieing them right now.
Good job cutting off penetration. Just be careful.
Peters with the floater. Rolls off the rim. Hoppenwasser comes down with the rebound.
Yeah, PV with four players around there. Pull back, Jacob. No need to take that. Good move.
1 minute to go. 1 minute to go. Vikings lead by 4. Pennridge should be fouling, and they do, with Jacob Bulger.
That's the 5th team foul. That'll put Jacob Harkin at the line.
Harkin shooting 70% on the year from the free throw line.
So free throws could be critical in closing out here. Still a lot of time left, only a 4-point lead.
First one goes through, and the Vikings now lead by 5.
Even if he makes this, we've got a 2-possession game for Pennridge. Doesn't have to be a 3-pointer, but you do want to score probably within, I would say, 15 seconds if you can.
And then Peters.
And then get your 3/4, maybe full court, man. That's what you don't want to do, is turn the ball over.
Hot pass from Peters off the hands of Bulger, and Pennridge will call timeout, down 6 with 49.7 seconds left. So we can assume a quick foul here from Pennridge, right?
Yeah, well, they're going to look to steal first. So it looks like the ball's going to go right by the scorer's tables where the inbound's going to happen, right by the bench. And then if you can't steal, you're going to look to foul with a 6-point lead and 49 seconds left. I'm going to second guess myself here. You may not have to foul right away. But if you're going to go for the steal, you're going to have to either steal initially on the inbound. If there's a successful pass or two, you're going to have to look to double right away. If you don't get the ball in your hands within 10 seconds, now you definitely have to foul because you're putting PV back at the line. Because you're already in the team foul situation here at 5. The key here is going to be, can Coach Behrens funnel that ball to somebody he wants at the free throw line when they do commit that foul? Now, we'll see who Perkiomen Valley brings into the game. But assuming it's the 5 that were out there.
Yeah, I don't think anyone checked in. So it's
Anthony Rodriguez, a 50% free throw shooter.
They're going to try to get the Harkin in. They do. He's double teamed quickly. Rodriguez fouled.
And that's exactly how it played out. So they went to steal it initially. The ball gets inbound. They go to double team. They go and get out of the double team, and then the foul is on that pass.
Anthony Rodriguez coming into this game is 3 for 6 from the free throw line. So he hasn't had many opportunities from the free throw line. So a chance here to get that percentage up.
Yeah, and that's why I said they would be happy if the ball did funnel to him at this point. Nice job there by Anthony connecting on that. That's going to give him confidence as well.
Ryan Schwind checks in for Pennridge.
Ty Hoppenwasser for PV as well. One of the reasons Ty Hoppenwasser is in, obviously, for his defensive prowess, but also to rebound the basketball because Pennridge has got to shoot quick.
Rodriguez 2 for 2 from the line, 8-point lead for the Vikings. Outside shot for Peters, short. Schwind thought about putting it up, now hands it to Peters. This second one goes in, and Pennridge calls timeout with 32.4 seconds left.
Yeah, they got a couple of looks at the basket. When you're taking three-pointers, that rebound's going to go long, with the exception of the first one, which didn't hit anything, and they were able to get the rebound there, get it back out to the three-point line. So you've got a 5-point lead here with only 32 seconds. A lot of game time left here.
I believe the table's reminding the officials that Pennridge is out of timeouts at this point.
That's going to be critical if they are, in fact, out of timeouts, because if they make a basket here, let's say they're able to stop Perk Valley and then come back down the other end and make the basket, obviously they're going to have to foul. They're not going to be able to make any timeout call after a made basket at any point in 32 seconds. So you're going to see PV probably do a parade to the free throw line here over the next 32 seconds, especially if Pennridge is able to connect on a basket, whether it's a 2 or a 3.
And we did mention at the beginning of this quarter that free throw shooting was going to be important for Perkiomen Valley, and they've done well so far.
Anthony Rodriguez has the baseline the run since it was after a made basket.
Harkin tries to draw the double team. Is fouled by one of the players, and going for a ride there is Ronan Smith.
Trying to draw the technical foul. Him and Jacob just talking about it. I think they know it was incidental.
Bolger called for the foul, his third, and Harkin will shoot 2. Just under 30 seconds to play.
He makes 1, it's a 2-possession game. He makes 2, it's a 3-possession game.
Vikings up 6. Ty Hoppenwasser checks back in for the Vikings.
Pennridge will be coming down quick to shoot the ball, whether 2 or 3 at this point. You'll take any basket.
Soft roll off the free throw. Vikings lead by 7. Peters and Bolger play catch. Bolger to the basket, draws the foul, and he'll shoot 2. Not sure Christmas cards are going to be exchanged between the Vikings coaching staff and the officiating crew for today. Although it's not 11 months away. Got plenty of time for us to forgive and forget.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, a lot of good things can happen between now and then, and who knows? They might end up exchanging them anyway.
Bolger makes the first of 2. That cuts the lead back to 6.
So a 2-possession game here. This is a big free throw to make it a 2 and a 3. If Pennridge is able to do that, they want to foul instantly.
Harkin called for the foul. Excuse me, Harkin draws the foul. Called on Ronan Smith.
Yeah, Ronan Smith thinking he had a tie up there, but you can tie up the ball, you just can't tie up the opponent's arm as well.
Talking to Jacob Harkin before the game, he was lively and full of energy. Now he looks like he's been through quite the ringer here today.
Yeah, really had the opportunity. This is a great opportunity for him to really show his leadership as he's, basically been going to the free throw line here for the last minute or so and able to close out this game for his team. And he's doing a good job of doing that. He's focused at the line. He's making free throws. He's getting rebounds. So nice job by him and also the whole team as a whole. Kind of gathered themselves in the third quarter, kind of relaxed. Figured out a way to finally beat the pressure a little bit. And I'm kind of surprised that Coach Barons came out of it, but at the same time, it's tough to run your team for a long time at full court pressure because that's just that much more energy they got to expound.
Vikings called timeout, up 7 here with 18 seconds left. Nothing's impossible in here, but 7 feels okay?
Yeah, it does. And, we've seen a lot of crazy things this season already, but as long as you can just do some fundamental things here and team things, and with Pennridge not having any timeouts left, you should be able to walk out of here with a win today.
And we mentioned how much of a struggle it was for the Vikings coming into the fourth quarter, but we also mentioned the Vikings have scored their most points in the fourth quarter, and both of those things have turned out to be true today.
Yeah. So, again, one of those things when you brought that point up is it a sign of the fact that they're just, desperately trying to get themselves back in games, but against an opponent like Pennridge, who is a very similar team, they were able to show their mettle today, and good leadership, good patience, good fundamental plays. At times you didn't see it, but you're starting to see it a little bit more consistently.
3-point attempt by Bolger short. Vikings have it. Then they should be able to dribble this one out. And the Vikings are going to improve to 7-9, and they're going to drop Pennridge to 7-6. And a good win for the Vikings to get some district playoff points as they attempt to make it in at perhaps one of the last few teams in. So a good win for the Vikings here. They did a lot of things today, had to overcome a lot of things to get it done.
Yeah, it was nice to see some real positive, certainly a positive outcome. But, it's an odd time to play on a Saturday, and they really came out strong, kind of let things go back. They kind of went back to some old habits there in the second quarter, but kind of righted the ship in the third quarter and really set sail in the fourth quarter. I'm going to use all my boating analogies there, but I'll get away from them at this point.
Vikings' next home game will be on Tuesday, and we'll talk about that in a second. So the final score today is 54-38 Vikings win. We are back on the air Monday night as the girls return home as they host Norristown, and then the boys will be home. I'll be here on Tuesday when they host Pottstown for their final cross-division game of the year. Thanks for joining us for today's game. We will see you next week.